alon ko mota nyina lala.
Hello, you are watching QTV this morning. I am Ibrahim Suri Balde, the VJ. We are back again on another edition of QTV this morning. And, you know, it's a program where we talk about a lot of things. I mean, a lot of things are happening. And, you know, it's important for us to discuss, I mean, those things and, you know, bring specialists, the likes of Mr. Mboch, Mr. Ade, and others to review some of the stories that we discuss here on this platform. On that note, I will like to introduce the guy that I was producing on Viewpoint, but I happen to abscond. Can I say abscond, Mr. Mboch?
I sacked you.
Oh, you sacked me? I didn't know. I didn't receive any letter.
No, I didn't sack you.
All right, good morning.
Good morning, Ibrahim.
Yeah.
Nice to be back here.
How are you doing, Mr. Mboch?
I'm
You're
all
looking
right.
very nice.
Alhamdulillah, I'm cool.
MashaAllah.
All right, well.
Yeah, so this program is sponsored by the OIC Secretariat and, of course, Olinda Cow Milk Lido Tea. It's all from the same company. They are the, they are the sponsors of this program this morning. The reason why you're seeing the program, it's because they are putting some of their money into this program so that the program can continue. It's like fuel. I mean, when there is no fuel in a car, it will never move, no matter what happens.
Absolutely, and I like the tea. I like the taste as well. I'm a coffee person, really, but once in a while I drink tea and I use Olinda. It's nice. People
Exactly. Although we miss taking our tea in the morning, you know, due to Ramadan, you know, but very soon we'll say happy Eid again, inshallah. May we witness it. Yeah, so Mr. Mboch, on the program, we'll be taking a look at the newspapers, reviewing some of the stories. Then we will be talking to Umfali Fadera, who will be here from the OIC, you know, communications officer, sort of, and he will be here, I mean, to discuss some of the preparations ahead of the OIC Summit here in Banjul. As you know, a lot of preparations have been done, and people are eager, I mean, to see. Because, I mean, for a very long time, most people have been talking about it. I mean, I think there was cancellation on several occasions, you know, due to incomplete projects of the OIC. So Fali will be here and we'll be discussing some of these projects and the progress as well. So I think we need to delve straight into some of the stories we have. Yes, I'm seeing on the on one of the newspapers, that's the Standard newspaper, police arrest 5 students following Deeper Life School fracas. Recently, I've seen a video circulating on social media. Our brother Churchill Balde sent a video in our WhatsApp group where students a gang attacked a particular school. According to what I heard, this school is Deeper Life, a school called Deeper Life, and the gang recorded a video, you know, taking ownership of what happened. It was a very serious incident. One was beaten to the extent of even, you know, getting into a situation that is unwanted. So let's talk about this level of anger, the level of indiscipline, the level of, you know, doing whatever you want without even taking heed.
Well, first of all here, Ibrahim, let us understand here the situation, the scenario that you've just given me here. A group of students attacked another group, they had a fight, and the like. Are they gangs in the, you know, conventional sense of the term? Is it really a gang, or is it just a group that came together? We need to get more facts so that we wouldn't overplay whatever is going on. Well, in the 80s, we had something called Terror 18, that's that sort of thing. So you have to manage these things well and not overblow anything, you know what I mean? So we need to get the facts. What is going on? Is it a gang thing or is it just a group? Students being students, sometimes you get these things, but it depends on the authorities, teachers. Do we need to bring in the police? Maybe. It depends on these authorities, how they manage it, really. That's really what we're talking about.
Actually, from the information I received, I mean, they mentioned a gang name. They call themselves a particular gang. You know, we might not know what transpired between the school, the students, and that gang itself. But we've seen a video where the gang is claiming ownership of what happened. And, you know, they are to return again and inflict the same type of violence, you know, to those students.
That's it. Well, with the social media now, with the videos, you see all sorts of things all the time. What matters now is that, yes, there's a video. I'm sure possibly the police will look at it. Do they need to come in or not? You know, stuff like that. So we need to get the facts regarding this particular case before we can really talk much about it. But more generally, as when you introduce this subject, talking about the indiscipline and that sort of thing, especially at schools, yes, to some of us, of a certain generation, I guess, we think that things are a bit loose now. There was what we used to call a hierarchy of decorum. I think it has broken down now to some extent. When we look at the public space, yes, for someone like me, I see a lot of indiscipline. I see a lot of impatience. You have this sort of latent aggro. There is always this unspoken aggro, and it doesn't take much for it to just burst out. It's quite interesting, especially when you see how the way people drive. I think that's a good metaphor for really what's going on.
Well, let's leave that investigation to the police.
Absolutely.
I mean, the boys have been already apprehended, and they are with the police. So I hope and you know, conclude by saying maybe at the end of the time they will know what is really the problem.
And what to do about it. If there's a problem, what to do about it. You know what I mean? Absolutely.
Yes. Exactly. I'm seeing a headline here on the Point newspaper. Maki engineers the defeat of Amadou Ba. I mean, someone is saying this.
Maki what?
You know, engineers the defeat of Amadou Ba. I mean, I don't know how he played a role. I mean, I think the Senegalese people decided already who they want to, I mean, steer their affairs for the coming years. So I don't know what hand does Maki have in that, but in another way, people will, in another hand, people can say Maki, by cancelling the elections date, you know, might trigger the defeat of Amadou Ba to Jomai.
You know, the other day when we discussed it, they described the whole thing as an earthquake. But this is it, the earthquake came in the end. But before, it was all about suspense. Remember in 2019, Macky Sall, President Sall, easily defeated Sonko. Sonko came a distant third. So to my mind, between 2019 and 2024, something happened. Something massive happened to change all of this. So yes, maybe there's an argument that Macky's decisions, the first suspense, would he run for third term or not? He kept prevaricating. People were kept on tenterhooks. Then it moved on. Would he put, then the postponement came on. To postpone or not, that was another suspense. He was pushed back until, you know, when, you know, we're going to have it, but when? So the opposition insisted before your term ends. So here we are. The who, that's the earthquake, really. Perhaps against the odds, or was it equal odds? Bassirou Diomaye Faye had won, the radical candidate, extraordinary 44-year-old. Boy, Senegal just showed the whole world that you can upend the old order through the ballot box. For a long time, we thought that you could only do that when the soldiers
with
their barrel of a gun and stuff like that. But Senegal has just said, you know, you can put in the radical, if you like, you know, through the ballot box. That's a fantastic lesson, really.
Well, absolutely. I mean, what is more important at the end of the time, Senegal says, and, you know, the majority of the population have already, I mean, Syria mind. Who is, you know, willing enough to stand and against that? I don't think that can happen anymore.
I don't know. I think they were just tired of the 12 years. Essentially the same party, you know what I mean?
But, Mr. Mboj, you see, it's this, I mean, politics is funny. You know, I can remember when Macky was elected as president, everybody was, I mean, eager to see Macky deliver as the president of Senegal. You know, I can remember those days I was in Basse, and, you know, everybody was pointing to this man as the brightest and the person that can run the affairs of Senegal. But, you know, everything and its time. We've seen this in in most of the African countries, whereby certain people cheer up to a certain leader, but at the dying minutes of his political career, everybody point out to a different direction.
You've seen this not just in Africa, over the world. This is how things work. Before Macky Sall, when Abdoulaye Wade came into power, I remember as well, that was it, a new dawn, you know, and all the rest of it. In the end, they disappoint. Macky Sall, in the end, they disappoint. Obama, a lot of people say, oh, very soon they were all disappointed. This is what actually happens because expectations are so high, but reality is slightly different, you know. So the disappointment sooner or later will come. We all know that. Right now, the euphoria is absolutely gone through the roof. So sooner or later, the disappointment will set in because the kind of politics we have in democracy, all improvements, all development is really slow, incremental. It's just the nature of how things work. But again, people's expectations are high. When I was listening to those who voted for Diomaye Faye, I mean, they invest so much hope in what he can do.
That's
you know, the high cost of living and all the rest of it, when everybody knows that, ooh, that's a bit tricky. It depends so much on what's happening externally.
Well,
so
Mr. Mboj, when you look at it, I mean, in fact, this morning, I was on my way to work. I was with someone in my car. I said to the guy, the expectations are high in Senegal, you know, and Diomaye is a youngster, you understand? And he said to me, he is not very experienced. I said, well, that I cannot tell because he's worked, you know, in certain departments in Senegal. His inexperience, I cannot say. But what I can say, Senegal is a very difficult country to rule because the root, you know, cultured democracy is what they live by. So where people will say anything they want, where people will criticize, you know, and say anything about the president, whatever you do, you have to make sure you do it right. But on the other hand, I said to the guy, I think he got a very good backing, the likes of former President Wade. They have something, and they will direct him, the likes of Sonko as well. So what do you think will be the challenge of Diomaye?
Oh, plenty. Cost of living. These are some of the things why they voted him into power. 20% unemployment rate. Employment, how do you create these things? Poverty, 39%, we are told. So Diomaye said this is really the heartbeat, if you like, of his program, the projects. He's got 3 essential ruptures, he calls it, that he wants to enact. First, against the former colonial power, CFA want to leave that. That's one. Second, this so-called, what we call resource curse. We've seen in Africa, anywhere, be it Sierra Leone or anywhere else, where they've got natural resources. You've seen the infighting in there for these resources instead of coming together and making the whole country work. Because Senegal is really on the cusp of producing oil and gas and the like. And the other rupture, he said, bad governance. See, this is absolutely key. So he's going to institute institutional reform and all the rest of it. Absolutely wonderful. I think that's really the direction to go. So now, how do you do it? So for some of us, we suspend judgment. I necessarily must suspend judgment. Though I've spoken to a lot of people who support him, who think that he can do it and all the rest of it. Granted, I will suspend my judgment because I think that he's got difficult things to do really right now. And given the state of the world, it will be quite interesting to see how he's going to do it. People like us, we're really willing him to do well. Because what we want is a sort of second phase. I mean, upending the old order, it's all been compromised. There was compromise here, compromise there, but there appears to be a new mood. We're seeing it more in Francophone Africa. More of that, all of these military men. France has really fallen out of favor now. You get that sense. So perhaps there's a new generation that really want to make that significant pivotal turn, as it were. I do not know.
True.
So here we've got the youngest person in Africa, really, the youngest person ever voted into power. They've got much younger presidents,
Absolutely,
but they were all soldiers.
Yes.
So the democracy, the youngest person in Africa elected
president.
into power.
Yes.
What does it say? Is it a pivotal moment? I do not know. You never really know the significance of the moment if you are in it. It's only with perspective, with time, that you know how significant it is. So I do not know.
Well, I mean, you mentioned a very important point there. You know, how do you seek to achieve it? If politicians will tell you, okay, I'll change the health system, the education system, I'll make sure I change the CFA or the Dalasi to ECHO, or I'll make sure we do this and that and that and that. But how do you seek to achieve it? Achieving it is the main deal.
Yes, this is it. But yes, there you have the details of policy, thinking about policy, implementing, getting the right outcomes and all the rest of it. Those are details. For me, let's go to the broader, the approach, the character. All I want from these people is just honesty. You have to be honest. So for a long time, you'll have leaders who will come and say one thing, you know, the rhetorical pose, oh, we're against this, we're against that, but behind the scenes, they're stealing, they're not honest. I think once you have the basic honesty that you want to work, I think you can achieve something. Really, when you look at Senegal, the past presidents, Abdoulaye Wade, infrastructure, he did a lot. In the end, it appeared as if he messed up, he soiled himself. Somehow, the ending is really always difficult. With Sall as well, people will tell you, he did a lot. When it comes to infrastructure, he was working, he did a lot, and hospitals and all the rest of it. But in the end, it seemed as if he soiled himself. There was one British politician some time back who said that all political careers really end in failure. Extraordinary. Yes,
And you might be right.
Oh yeah, you've seen it all over. Even our former president, the first one, how did it end? Sadauda, it was a coup. With Yahya Jammeh, how did it end? He had to be chased out. So in a sense, not many of them can manage the ending. Senghor was a very special one, the way he managed his. Just give to Abdou Diouf, it was smooth. But for many leaders, it's very difficult to manage the ending.
I mean, I think the guy might be right there. I mean, sometimes you might not see other things coming, but as many leaders, they are tenor and in terror, sometimes in war, sometimes things that are not called for. Yes. So, Mr. Mboj, let's proceed. I mean, recently we've seen people that are sent on a diplomatic mission to other countries. I think 2 weeks to like 3 weeks ago, there was a report on one of the newspapers that there was sort of a fight between a particular diplomat and, you know, is it a driver or one of their staff, and they were recalled back to the Gambia. So the reason why I raised this topic, you know, it's past. I mean, it's like almost a month ago, but I've engaged few people during your time. Let's say the old. I asked them, okay, who is a diplomat? Who is supposed to be sent for a mission? And some people said now people take diplomats' job lightly, but they are very significant. You need to look at people with integrity and send them for an international mission.
Absolutely, especially with us, given our size, we don't have much resources. Diplomacy is really one of our instruments of state. So I doubted that was really his forte, that was his strength. That internationalism, who could go out, talk to people, and because he had democracy, then he could persuade them to give us things, to give us money, to help us build things. We rely on that, not on arms. For us, it's just about soft power. There's nothing else we have. It's just soft power that brings in the aid, what they call soft power, the aid, the help, and all the rest of it. So we absolutely rely on diplomacy. Of course, now, yes, one gets the sense that it appears as if it's a dumping ground. Anybody relieved of your post as minister or whatever position,
you are
or taken, deployed to the foreign services and stuff like that. But really, the whole point of it is that you take to the foreign service people who have served for 40, 50 years, highly experienced, so they can represent the interest of the country in a more seasoned, mature way. That's the idea of the diplomat. Really, that's the thing. So you take people who are highly experienced in their job, who have distinguished themselves, you know, in whatever they did. You give it to them to have that mature representation of our interests, because diplomacy is really, really at the heart of our survival, really, when you look at the beginnings of the Gambia, with no resources, with absolutely nothing.
True. I think that should be taken and noted well, so that we see the type of people that we send. I mean, at some point, like it is said, I mean, these people are representing a whole nation, the Gambia. Yeah, so now let's talk about, you know, things that are happening, you know, around Africa, Mr. Mboj. I mean, you do the African news roundup, you put it together, and very interesting stories. Sometimes you see on television the way people live, the way people of different countries carry out their day-to-day activities, the way they govern. So those are all, sometimes these things are different from the usual that you know in your country.
And something else, gradually we've got certain guiding principles, right? If you follow the mainstream media, well, mainstream media really tends to give you all the negative stuff, the war, the famine, the starvation, and all the rest of it. Granted, that is going on. There are other things going on as well. Sometimes I see South Africans doing opera. Or when it comes to AI in Ghana, in Kenya, they're doing interesting stuff. So we said, life is really like a mosaic, isn't it, of different things happening. So we want to represent that. So you'll have stuff on film, on literature, on art, music, fine arts, anything. So you have a more wholesome representation of what we are. The wars are going on, people are dying, yet you go somewhere else, there are festivals and people are having fun. It is mixed. So that is really what we want to present. There's a guiding principle behind really how what we show with the African news.
Exactly. Recently, the news team also engaged Honorable Sidia Jata on the introduction of local language in schools. I mean, how do you imagine us speaking local language in schools? How is that going to impact our education system?
Do you know something? When the missionaries, the first missionaries who came, and here, if my memory serves me right, was it the Wesleyans or the Methodists? But the first missionaries, do you know what they did? They transferred all their lessons in the local languages. They translated all of them. They were doing that. It's extraordinary that we lost it along the way. But when you look at the history books, I remember when I read that, I couldn't believe it. They translated everything in the local languages, and then that was how they're taught. Or we've known for a very long time, all the science has taught us that when you educate somebody, teach somebody in the local language, the way they apprehend concepts, it's much deeper. Once you get that, then it will be easier to bring in English. But the embedding, as it were, must be that local language. Then your understanding, it makes a whole difference. So it is absolutely the right thing to do. The shame is really, it has taken us this long. You see, they had a program since 2015 regarding this. On the Jamia, there was a program about this, and the 7 languages to be teaching kids in the 7 languages, junior school and secondary level, that sort of thing. But still, we haven't started, but everybody knows that really that's a better way of teaching.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mboj. We'll take a short break, and after the break, we'll be back. Be reminded this program is sponsored by the OIC Secretariat and, of course, Olinda, Lido, and Cow Milk. So we'll be right back after the break.
The Gambia is proud to host the 15th OIC Summit on the 4th and 5th May 2024, the second largest gathering of world leaders, kings, presidents, rulers, prime ministers, along with delegates from 57 member countries of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation will gather in our beloved nation for this historic event. The theme of the summit is enhancing unity and solidarity through dialogue for sustainable development. It's a platform to foster cooperation, promote peace and drive sustainable development across the Ummah and the world at large. We call on all Gambians to unite and support the government as it strives to host a memorable and successful event. Let's showcase our hospitality, culture and the beauty of the Gambia to the world. Join us in making history. Let's stand together, united as one, to ensure the 15th OIC Summit in the Gambia is an event to remember. Together, we can make a difference.
Never before in the Gambia, QCell is giving you an unbeatable offer. Activate our 5G network on your 5G enabled phone and enjoy free internet for 7 days. Yes, you heard that right. Activate QCell's 5G on your phone and experience what true 5G internet feels like. Get your QCell SIM cards activated today at the following care centers: Banjul, Senegambia, Brikama, Bursubi Turntable, Bakau Airport, and Kairaba Avenue headquarters. Rush now and be part of the future with QCell's 5G. Free internet for 7 days only with QCell. For more information, call QCell Customer Care on 111. QCell Sunyubus. We innovate. Orders follow. Terms and conditions apply. Yako lache QCell jotlako. Yokute amna si suny promo bu best bi. di suñu bundle mega promo léegi mun nga dugga si internet bi si noko buggee ak num gëna yombé jëndal suñ data bundle package bo bugga te nga am si wàññite bu mag dialal star 303 # pour nga mun a jëfandikoo internet bi si network bu gëna yaatu jëndal 20 megabytes data bundle léegi si juróom-ñaari dërëm ak genn wàlla bu dul loolu nga jënda biga bundle lu dem ba 20 gigabytes Wow, dégg nga ma 20 gigabytes data bundle ak suñ mega promo bundles bi mun ngaa jëfandikoo internet bi waxtaan si lu yàgga ñu jokkale la saa su ne fu ne pour am si lu leer mun ngaa call QCell customer care si 111 QCell ñoo xaali yoon bi ñeneen toppa lii dafa ànd ak sarta yuñ tëral.
Technology has always been at the forefront of our lives, and the way we use it has evolved drastically over the years. With the advent of 5G internet, we are entering a new era of technological innovation that promises to transform the way we live, work, and play. 5G internet is capable of providing data speeds up to 100 times faster than 4G, making it the ideal solution for streaming high-quality videos, playing online games, and downloading large files on the go. 5G internet is already transforming cities across the globe, powering smart cities, self-driving cars, and virtual reality experiences that were once thought impossible. 5G internet is also paving the way for Internet of Things, allowing for seamless connectivity between devices and the creation of a truly connected world. For the first time in the Gambia, QCell is bringing tomorrow's technology to you today with the launch of QCell 5G internet. Get ready to experience the out-of-this-world wonders of QCell's 5G internet. For more information, call 111. QCell. We innovate, others follow.
The future is now with QCell's 5G network. Experience speeds like never before with our new 5G Rocket Fixed Internet plan. Get speeds from 10 Mbps to 100 Mbps. Your 5G-enabled devices. Walk into QCell headquarters to get one of our 5G routers and experience the true feeling of 5G. Only with QCell. QCell brings you the future, tech, innovation, incredible speed. The future is now. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Sunyabus. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions apply.
QCell moy suñu boss. QCell moy suñu boss. QCell moy suñu boss. Go, ebeda full network suda tili QCell. Ni lafta diamla wati jamala mune diata QCell. Most reliable network dumala geta wati QCell. Wo quality man nyon soda jam ona manke QCell. Hanibe wulo ni farole kono walante be bako na jala fayola network ko se taria QCell suñu boss. Nyo finjeka indi 3G ñu delu taxi 4G plus and now we bring you 5G. 5G. Person
You are watching QTV this morning. I am Ibrahim Asuri Balde. Reminded this program is sponsored by the OIC Secretariat and of course Lido, Olinda and Cow Milk. Well, we are in the, we have Fali Fadera in the studios with us. Good morning, Fali.
Good morning, Mr. Balde.
Yes.
Thanks for having me.
How are you doing?
Here. Alhamdulillah.
I know you've been very busy these days. I'm following the activities on social media.
I know it's busy times. Things are picking up. The preparation is intensifying as well. So we've also been going around in and out, trying to spread awareness, carry people along as much as possible.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
So let's delve into the conversation. I mean, can you give us an overview of the preparations made for the successful hosting of the OIC Summit in the Gambia?
Mr. Balde, once again, thank you so much for having me. Just like you rightly said in your introduction earlier on, the Gambia is hosting the 15th OIC Heads of State Summit, slated for the 4th and 5th of May this year. And as you can imagine, we are in the last mile of that, and the preparations are intensifying. As I speak to you, all levels of the state, beginning from the president, across government, at the level of the secretariat, you know, through our structures, the local organizing committee, and all the stakeholders that we are working with, everybody is working round the clock. We are all fired up, doing whatever we can, leaving no stone unturned, making sure that whatever needs to be in place is in place to ensure a successful summit. Gambia is incredibly proud to be given this opportunity to host one of the biggest gathering of world leaders, 57 heads of state and government, alongside delegates from member countries and beyond, including observer countries and special envoy countries of the OIC are expected to come here. This is no small responsibility, and Gambia, the government, everybody, I believe, is alive to that reality, and we are making sure whatever we need is in place to ensure that this summit is successful and it's one of a kind. At the level of the Secretariat, all our structures are fully mobilized. We are working round the clock. In fact, our meetings, our coordination efforts have redoubled. Some of our subcommittees, individual subcommittees that we are working with, have even moved station to the Secretariat. You know, government is also supporting. A budget has been approved. You know, so we are definitely on course to making sure we host a memorable and a very successful event that all Gambians can be proud of.
Well, this summit is not a small one. According to what I heard, it's among the second biggest.
Yes.
I mean, convergence of
World
leaders.
leaders. That's
Yeah.
correct.
So, I mean, what is the committee doing security-wise to make sure, you know, security is well implemented?
Mr. Bali, that's a very important question. We are quite aware that we are dealing with quite, you know, a high level, a very high level status in terms of the delegation that we expect, the composition of the delegates that we expect. We are talking about heads of state and government, ministers, you know, world leaders pretty much. And we know events of this nature cannot carry on, cannot take place without a robust security system in place. That is why the government, as part of our structures, our preparatory efforts, one of the most crucial, essential committees that we have is security. Our security subcommittee comprises of representation from all the security services in the country. The military is part of it, the Gambia Armed Forces, the police is part of it, the intelligence, pretty much all the security services in the country are part of our security subcommittee, and they've been meeting regularly. You know, they are one of the most active committees that we have at the level of our National Organizing Committee. So, aside from the work of the the Security Subcommittee, the National Security Council as well has taken keen interest in what we do, because this is of high national priority for the country. Like I said, it's an opportunity that could make or break Gambia. The stakes are so high. That is why the government is not taking it lightly, and the National Security Council also is not taking it lightly.
Absolutely, yes.
As recently as I think about a couple of months ago, you know, they came to the office, they met with the structures, they met with the subcommittee, you know, and they are also supporting in terms of improving the readiness and the capability of our security forces. At the level of the Secretariat also, over the years, we have tried as much as possible to capacitize our security forces, making sure that they are in a strong state of readiness and they are always high on alert, making sure that, you know, whatever we need is in place to ensure the event is secure, safe for all the people that are going to be here, but also for the people of the Gambia. We've done a whole lot of stuff. For example, as part of our capacity building drive in preparation for this summit, we have built the capacities of more than 2,000 security personnel.
Wow,
some of
nice.
them train in the country, some of them train abroad. In addition to the capacity building programs, in fact, the latest of such initiatives took place, I think, last week or so, when the Gambia Police Force concluded training for 180 personnel on special operations. I think that would be courtesy of the government of Turkey. All of these things came under, you know, the bilateral efforts or the diplomatic push that the OIC and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs championed. Some time also ago, I think about a year or two ago, the Secretariat also provided some security gears and apparatuses for the security services. We gave them, I think, about 240-foot containers.
I think I saw that somewhere.
Yes. Yeah. So all of that is geared towards improving the state of security in the country in a way that the guests can come and participate in the summit and leave without any incidents at all.
Well, I think people who were doubting whether it will be hosted by the Gambia, I mean, I think now they are seeing projects. I mean, we've seen the roads, we've seen a lot of things happening. Now nobody is going to doubt it. But at this point, let's, Mr. Mboj. Yes.
Yes, Mr. Federa,
Yes,
now it's barely a month, isn't it, to
really,
go?
yes.
I wonder, what specifically do you need to complete between now and then?
I think in terms of the hard components, I think we've gone really, really, really far in terms of the essentials for a conference of this nature to take place. A good example is the conference facility. We need a conference facility to host the meetings of the summit. We have a state-of-the-art conference facility in place, $50 million equipped with state-of-the-art equipment. You know, it also has a range of capabilities that can facilitate events of this nature. The airport project also is complete. We're part of one of the strategic projects that we've been overseeing all this while in preparation for this August gathering is the construction of a VVIP lounge at the Banjul International Airport. That too, I am happy to report, is completed, and it has also been handed over to the government. You know, and then, you know, all the other things that we need in place. The accommodation is also being sorted. I guess in terms of our infrastructure projects,
not sorted yet. It's being sorted. It's in the process.
It's an ongoing process. It's an ongoing process. The accommodation subcommittee, in collaboration with the Gambia Hotel Association, are working on it in partnership with the Office of the President, Foreign Affairs, and our office as well. We are very comfortable with the range and the quality of accommodation that we have seen in the country, but I'm sure we will expand on that later on. But to come back to your question, you know, one of the things that is central to our planning, infrastructure-wise, that is still being worked on is the road aspect of things, the widening of the Battle Harden Highway project. But I'm also happy to report that the contractors have gone between 85 to 90% complete in terms of that project, and they have assured us that by the time the summit is upon us, by the time we hold the first meeting, they will have completely laid the asphalt for the rest of the remaining of the length, the mile that is left. So they've come all the way to the traffic light junction. What is left is the distance between the traffic light to the Sting Corner, which is barely 3-4 kilometers. In fact, the earthworks have advanced significantly, but just like I said, we've been assured that before the summit is upon us, the asphalt will be laid and it will be ready for use. So we are doing extremely well. We are very confident with the pace of the progress, and you know, we are on course to ensuring a very successful event. In terms of the events planning too, you know, that is one area that we are also making a lot of headways. Like I said, our National Organizing Committee, the one committee that we work with in that area, which is the events planning bit, which comprises of different subcommittees like security, protocol, media, documentation, hospitality, events. They are doing extremely well as well. All our different committees are fully mobilized, fully engaged. As we speak also, we are building the capacities of the individuals that are going to be on the front line. As I speak to you today, the drivers are having their training at the conference center. The media subcommittee also is building the capacity of the media professionals that we have here. We held a similar training program or exercise for the event runners, the hospitality frontliners that are going to be in the hotels and things like that. That was also concluded. So as you can see, we are definitely moving steadily in the right direction, and we are very confident that once the tax is upon us, we will deliver it in a successful manner.
Absolutely.
Just one last thing regarding this event, logistics. Have you outsourced any aspect of it, I wonder, or is it all being done by the OIC?
In as much as we have capacity in country, in as much as Gambia has hosted an event of this kind in the past, in the case of the OAU in 2006, but what I usually tell people, the OIC is a different ball game, and the times are completely different. In order to be able to carry out this world event in a successful manner, we are exploring a range of possibilities, including partnering with established, globally renowned event planning companies. We are in talks with one through the bilateral cooperation avenue with the Moroccan government. We are very much in the advanced stages of that. We are expecting this events planning company to come and help with the logistics of things, because as you may be aware, we will need a lot of things in place. Spillover tents for food courts, tents for media center and the work of the media, prayer grounds, even the aesthetics, the furniture, the logistics inside the plenary hall. All those things are things that Gambia, we do not have the capacity to do in terms of both the material aspect of things, but also in terms of the experience. And Morocco really is a leader when it comes to international and global conferencing. You just recently hosted the annual meetings of the IMF and the World Bank. I had the good fortune to be there about 2-3 weeks ago, and we met quite a range of companies, and we've been exposed to the range of services that they can offer. So that conversation is ongoing, and inshallah, all of these efforts is just towards making sure Gambians are proud of the outcome. Because at the end of the day, when you have 57 heads of state come to you, it's an opportunity. I tell people it is the single biggest PR opportunity for the Gambia to showcase itself to the world. You have these delegates come. Our goal is to leave a lasting impression on them, to showcase the best of Gambia, the wealth and the beauty of our culture, our national heritage, and, our potential as a tourism hub, as an investment hub, and also as a MICE destination as well. So we are doing what we can to make sure Gambia becomes the winner, ultimately.
But we've got barely a month. Don't you think that this outsourcing should have been done earlier, for instance?
The conversation started a lot earlier. The reason why I said it is being concluded is that it is part of an ongoing bilateral arrangement. But our engagement with them have been ongoing. They've come, they've been here in the country a couple of times, I think 3 times already, on planning missions, assessment missions, and looking at what they need and what is not. So what we are just waiting for is few confirmations here and there, but the team is locked and loaded, if I can use that, and everything that they need in terms of their planning is already done. Because it is taking a bilateral frame, there has to be a few, say-sos here and there for things to move to the next level. But pretty much we are very much confident that, come what may, we will forge a way ahead with this event planning company.
So what are we doing to incorporate our culture so that we can sell it to the attendees?
Yeah. Well, Mr. Balde, that's a very good question, because the way that we are thinking about it is it's going to be a missed opportunity if we do not take advantage of, just like I said, this attention that will be beamed on the Gambia during this period. And in so doing, we want to showcase the best of Gambia. We are working with relevant government agencies and stakeholders to make sure we showcase exactly that. Just this morning actually, we have, as part of that effort, a meeting with the Gambia Chamber of Commerce. We've met with the GT board, we've met with GAIPA as well. So we are putting our heads and resources together to see how we can put Gambia's best foot forward. We will try to make sure it is reflected in some of these things that we do. There will be a state banquet in honor of the guests that we expect. It's our plan to also use avenues like that to put our national cultural heritage, the beautiful things that we have to offer to these guests as part of the hospitality.
So what are we doing also to involve young entrepreneurs, at least to be able to sell and showcase what they can do to the guests coming? Yes.
In terms of our engagement with the business community, I would like to believe that we are doing really well in that department, in the sense that as part of our preparations, we are engaging with quite a range of service providers, and all these service providers are local companies, owned and managed and staffed by young Gambians. A good example I like to give is right now, as you speak, there is maintenance work at the conference center. In fact, we are shutting down completely on the 31st of March to give ourselves time for the logistics works that we need to put in place. One of the companies embarking on such repairs work is CS Painting, a Gambian-owned company. The company that does cleaning as well, high-rise glasses there and all sort of stuff, is also another Gambian company. I think it's called Smart Cleaning, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not giving publicity to them. Okay. But there is a range of services that we are engaging, even for the uniforms for the police, the security apparatuses, the IT equipment and stationery that we need. All of these businesses that we are dealing with are Gambian-owned businesses, in most cases manned by young people. But also during the summit period as well, like I said, we've started conversations with critical stakeholders in an effort to create a platform where these delegates that are expected to come, 3,000, 3,500, would have the opportunity to interact with the Gambian business community. Because, we all travel here and there to attend conferences. Sometimes one of the things that you like to do is to get memorabilia or to get something to get something
that
for
you
friends
can,
and family.
Exactly, yes.
And we are very much alive to that. That is why we are working with the stakeholders to see how we can make that happen. And there is also an ongoing effort to present a Showcase Gambia activity where we will put where we will present the best of what Gambia has to offer in terms of our business community, the banks, the other stuffs that we have to sell, and other aspects like our culture and things like that. So we are definitely looking into it.
Finally, in collaboration with local authorities, what are you doing? To make sure their involvement as well, and local people as well, going to communities and communicating to them, this is what the Gambia is hosting. Maybe someone sitting in Diabugu doesn't know what the OIC is. So what are you doing? What efforts are you doing?
Mr. Balde, that's a very important question, because the mantra that we have at the level of the Secretariat, and this is true across the government, is that this is a national event. It belongs to Gambians, all of us, irrespective of our ethno-linguistic, religious, and regional differences. Every Gambian should be able to see themselves in the coming of the summit. So that is why, as part of our advocacy, we are trying to reach out to as quite a diverse range of stakeholders as possible. And one of the events that we have conducted in that line is a national forum involving religious and traditional leaders, women groups and youth groups across the country through the Gambia Supreme Islamic Council and the Gambia Christian Council. We invited all of them as the stakeholders, and they all came. The chiefs that are also here, they all came. All the 44 chiefs across the country came except 2, which were unavoidably absent. Youth groups, women groups, they were all present. We formally informed them, sought their blessing, but also encouraged them to serve as our ambassadors to amplify our voice, because they are people with large followings in their respective communities. And all of that is just towards carrying everybody along. And, they came out in good numbers. The Christian Council was represented, just like I said, the Muslim community as well. So in addition to that, we are also working with the media sector. We invited senior journalists and media owners, the same level of sensitization.
Yeah, so finally, time is already up. Thank you very much, Fali, for coming.
Thank you.
We've already exhausted the time almost.
Very well.
Thank you very much. We appreciate Fali for always willing to talk to the media.
Thank you.
I think you've been on this program on several occasions.
That's correct.
So we appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me.
Let's go out. Let's give all our best. This belongs to us at the end of the time. All the projects is. That's my favorite part. Absolutely. You understand? Yeah, so the program is sponsored by the OIC Secretariat, and of course, Olinda Tea, Lido Coffee, and cow milk. But the cow milk is it's taken by our own Gabu. Gabu, stop drinking the milk, please. All right, thank you very much, viewers. Until we come here again, have a wonderful day.
Gambia is proud to host the 15th OIC Summit on the 4th and 5th May 2024. the second largest gathering of world leaders, kings, presidents, rulers, prime ministers, along with delegates from 57 member countries of the Organization of Islamic Cooperation, will gather in our beloved nation for this historic event. The theme of the summit is enhancing unity and solidarity through dialogue for sustainable development. It's a platform to foster cooperation, promote peace and drive sustainable development across the Ummah and the world at large. We call on all Gambians to unite and support the government as it strives to host a memorable and successful event. Let's showcase our hospitality, culture and the beauty of the Gambia to the world. Join us in making history. Let's stand together, united as one, to ensure the 15th OIC Summit in the Gambia is an event to remember. Together, we can make